Welcome to Soul Light and Body. How are you guys doing today? Hope you're doing well. Hope you continue to do your journaling. Hope you're continue to pause and do some self-reflection because that is super important. And what a better time for us to pause and reflect. We're going to be wrapping up 365 days, right? And what have you wrote in your journal that you're grateful for? We're going to wrap 365 days up, and we really need to show gratitude and be grateful for life because many times we tend to really beat up ourselves over a lot of stuff. And many of the things that we're beating up ourselves about, we cannot control. We really can't control it. But when you pause and you do some self-reflection, you go inward and you're able to really see exactly what you can start working on to really enjoy your evolution. Life is about evolving. We're going to go through challenges, we're going to go through different experiences, but it's the way how you chose to look at it. If you're going to take these experiences and use it as a stepping stone to propel you forward in life, that is going to be great for you. But if you're going to see it as something really bad, well, then you know what? It's going to hold you back. So it's time for you to look at your experiences and situations and challenges and see it as a stepping stone for you to move forward. What is your self-talk? What are some of the things that you're telling yourself, especially when you look yourself in the mirror? What are some of these things that you're telling yourself? Are they nice things? Write down these things in your journal. Write it down. Because many times, many of us that we are going through an internal struggle. It's a struggle. And we are not able to overcome it. It's pretty hard for us because we don't even understand what's happening in our lives. But it's a good time, especially when you're going to be sitting around the table with your family this Christmas season. Get to know your family in depth. Get to know your grandparents. Get to know your great grandparents if they are alive. Get to know them in depth. Because many times when you ask them questions, you can really get to understand yourself better, what's going on within your life. We all go through challenges. We all go through challenges. That is why we have stories to tell you today. Because when you go through challenges, you're able to tell a story. And that story able to help someone else. You don't just go through challenges because first go through it like that. There's a reason why you're going through it. There is a reason. And especially we're going to be wrapping up another year. You got to get rid of the clutter. The clutter outside and the clutter within your life. Things that are not serving you any longer, you think you really need to get rid of it. If you got to get rid of relationships that is not serving you, then people are not pouring into you and you keep pouring into people, you got to revise those relationships. Because it's not a fair exchange of energy. You have to revise those relationships. And it's okay to let them go. It's quite okay. Because especially if you are in the stage of transition and evolving, you're going to find that many people cannot go with you. They can't go with you, and it's quite okay. Do not beat up yourself. You release them with love. Release the relationships with love. Because when you stress yourself out, it's going to affect your health. So it's super important at this point in time in your life that you need to reflect It's all about reflection. And reflect on your life and be grateful for your life. Be grateful for it. Do not beat up yourself. Celebrate your wins, the wins that you accomplished this year. Celebrate it. It may be small baby steps, but still celebrate it. Give yourself a pat on the back. Well done. Call yourself by your name. Well done. I did it. And whatever I did not accomplish, I will try to accomplish it in the coming year. Watch yourself talk. That is so important. Watch yourself talk. Super important. I'm Karen Pascal, holistic health and wellness coach and a co-author of 2 books with my sister, Joan Williams, and it's Self-Care is Intentional and Your Gut in You. And it's available on Amazon, and you can pick up a copy and just gift a friend it. Just gift a friend it, because it's going to help that individual to understand more about themselves, what they should be eating, what they should not be eating, stay away from certain foods. So your gut in you is it's very simple, it's in simple layman terms to help a small child could really understand that even self. And the self-care is intentional. That's going to help you to understand self-care, because self-care is not only going to a spa, it's more than that. It's your mental as well is self-care. So just pick up a copy for yourself or gift a gift to a friend or a loved one. But I'm now going to welcome to Tommy Thompson, welcome to Keith, and welcome to Jamie. You guys have a fabulous story to share this evening, quantum time jump. And I know everybody want to know exactly what it is. So I'm not going to give away any pieces. I'm going to leave it for you guys to just do it. So I'm going to toss the mic now to Joan. Joan, take the mic.
Wow, great opening as always.
Thank you.
As you rightfully mentioned, we're winding down. Where are you in this point at this point in time?
Sure.
Where are you? Yeah, we all set our resolution when we commenced in 2024. And where are you now at this junction? And you parceling off, or you sectioning off, okay, well, I've accomplished this, I've accomplished that, or I didn't do this. But show yourself grace in this moment. Show yourself grace and love and compassion. And remind yourself who you are. You're special. You are amazing. You have this uniqueness that you came here with. And you're sharing it to the world. So count your blessing every moment. There's where you show the level of gratitude, because you understand you're bringing something special into the world. You're creating impact daily. And you understand that as you go through life and everything you've encountered, building you or built you for a moment like these, whereby you're getting ready to wind down and to conclude 2024. But the question for me tonight is asking you, are you aware? Do you have self-awareness? Are you choosing you as a person? Are you loving yourself? Are you leaning into your inner wisdom? Are you leaning into your intuition? Do you know who you are?
True. True. True.
Do you know who you are? Because when you love on yourself, you have that self awareness. You've built something special. So you can give love and you can receive love. You know what it is. You know what it is to be loved, because you are self assured. Keep your cup filled. Keep your cup filled, because we cannot serve from an empty cup. We cannot serve from an empty cup. So keep our cup filled. Nourish and nurture yourself. Nourish yourself daily. Quality food, good stuff, and everything. But that's not the only thing. You got to nurture. And what do I mean by nurture is that you got to nurture all the aspects of your life, your spirituality, whatever form of practice there may be, your physical activity. Keep moving. Keep moving. Bring that level of joy out in you. The world is waiting to receive that. Spark the level of creativity that you have within. Get creative. Have fun with life. Yeah, we got to be serious because you got to do things and stuff with it. But stop, pause, sit back, relax. Have some fun. Take yourself out to dinner if you doesn't have someone to take you to dinner. Date yourself. Get out, do special things for you because you are special. And remind yourself daily you are. Show a level of gratitude to yourself. Yes, you show to others who pour into you, but show yourself the level of gratitude. You earn that. You've been through all challenges, tears, sadness, loneliness. But remind yourself through it all, you're here. You're here in this moment. And every situation that you've been through, you've gained strength. You're stronger than ever. Tap into that and continue reminding yourself your situation that you've been through does not define who you are. Because every day you're growing, every day you are evolving. And don't forget to set those boundaries for your well being. Your well being. Got to set those boundaries so that you can stay strong. And sometimes they are necessary endings. And it's okay because people come in and are out of our lives. Greet them when they come in, and when they go, wish them well because we all have our own journey. But keep fortifying yourself. What is your morning routine? What is your nightly routine? Take time for yourself. Choose you so that you could continue to stay strong as you conclude 2024 and going to move into 2025. You're setting up those goals. Get a level of clarity. A level of clarity because you want to know what direction, who I want to become, and what direction or what do I want to move in. And step into your greatness. Step into your level of excellence because that's who you are. So tonight, we just want to remind you that you are a star. You're amazing. And we just want to drop whole bunch of love on you. And we want to thank you also for being supportive to us. And we're here to support you as well. My name is John Williams, Holistic Health and Wellness Coach. And tonight we got a great panel of discussion for you. We got Thompson, Keith, and Jamie. We welcome you tonight, and you're going to give us a level of clarity. What is the meaning of quantum time jump? And give us a level of understanding because you're going to expand our toolbox tonight. So when we leave this moment, we can take something away with us, or lots of takeaways. Thank you for being here. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Tommy. I'm normally behind the scenes there. This is something I don't know about if we can tell you a lot about. All Keith and I can do is share experience. And Jamie Watson Wolfe, although she won't claim it, is one of the purest channels I've ever met. She has brought can't watch Karen Pascal saying something that's pretty much gold standard to me. But I connected her with a video that Keith and I did 2 years ago, and I'm going to have him do most of the talking about where we're at and what's going on, and I'll go through, and we've actually got a little PowerPoint. We redid the journey. We jumped 25 miles. We know where we were. We know exactly where we're at. The next thing we know, we're coming around the curve and we're 25 miles down the road. And the time has virtually not changed. And yeah, we're kind of like, huh? But Jamie gave a much better explanation as a channel about what really probably happened. it makes a lot more sense than what we did, and we'll have fun with this. You know, Keith and I are just two blue collar guys. We live 22 miles from the nearest 4-lane and about 50 miles at least away from the nearest freeway. Keith,
Yeah.
we live
Yep.
out here. Yeah, little bitty 2-lane state roads. That's how you get to us, 4 county roads. That's what we live out in a little rural community. So we're nothing special. We're in recovery. And what's kind of cool about the three of us, Jamie, Keith, and myself, is that we're all in recovery programs, 12-step recovery programs. And we won't go any deeper into that because we're not supposed to. But yeah. You want to say anything, Jamie? She was in trance twice, when she brought through.
No, I just kind of joked when you said you went 25 miles, and I went the other way. I think you guys went way up. The car went this way, but you guys went way farther than 25 miles.
Yeah, I actually made a joke about that the time that he and I were up at the mothership. Ha 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 ha. And
Yeah.
maybe more than we knew. But we'll just tell you what we experienced. We got a little PowerPoint here, and I'm going to I'll go ahead and read what we have here because a lot of people are watching us on their phones, and then I'll let Keith talk. He remembers a lot more than me and more detail, and we probably don't need to go into massive detail about the bolts and how the caliper fell off, but
Right.
just general, most of these people could care less.
Right.
So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the PowerPoint. But also, I'm going to question the two hosts here. They're going to talk about a couple of, like, somebody got hit on a little scooter by a bus and flew up in the air. And some lady here took a walk in a nightgown and at 3 o'clock in the morning down a dark country road. Maybe we'll get them to say something before we end here tonight. We are not the only, so many of us have experiences like this.
Mm-hmm.
This
All
one
on
was
that,
just
Tom,
jarring.
all on that street?
No, I was talking about her. She had Karen had an experience in Guyana. And
In Guyana. Okay.
And Joan also had one in Guyana when they were young ladies, and it's quite incredible. So many of us have experiences like this. I know people who were heading to a wreck, and suddenly they appeared on the other side of it.
Mm-hmm.
I know so many people have stories like that. So now this is about we're on highway. Okay, I'll read what I wrote here 2 years ago. On November 28, 2021, 2 men in a 2008 GMC Envoy broke down about 60 miles from home and spent over 2 hours getting the vehicle back on the road. This is a story of the quantum leap, as some have called it, where they jumped 23 to 25 miles from the last point they remember. And I'll let Keith start talking now, and I'll get out of the way.
Hello, my name's Keith. How's everybody doing this evening?
Good.
Good.
All right. So yeah, on this particular night, we live in a town called Winnemac, and we were headed to a 12-step meeting in a town called Lafayette, which is about an hour and 10 minutes away from where we live. And like what Tom had there on the previous page, we got there. We had some issues with his vehicle. It took us a couple hours to get that fixed. And when we were, so once we got it back on the road, we got on Highway 25 North, which brings us most of the way back to where we're from. And it was probably 5 miles outside of Lafayette, headed back home. We were listening to, we had the Tool album, Fear Inoculum, on the radio, and we were just cruising. And
Can I break in
go
there?
ahead.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
our starting mileage was and this was a year later was 162,497, and we were and we listened to that Tool album a lot, and we have listened to that, and it's spiritually tuned. And one of our friends actually knows Maynard, the guy who writes the music. We had some extraordinary experiences already listening to that album driving down. Like we would go into hyper reality where the colors were brighter and everything. The energy just flowed. I can't explain it. But sorry, Keith, I broke in
Oh,
there.
you're fine.
Yeah.
You're fine. So it's dark, just like it shows in this picture, and we're driving north. And I specifically remember we were coming around a bend in the road where there's a bridge coming up, and that was where we jumped time. Basically, that's the last thing I remember. The next thing I know, and that, like I said, that was a few minutes after 9:08 p.m. And next thing I know, it's like almost immediately I start seeing lights coming up ahead. And
Let me read the thing here. He's used to me talking over him by now, but the mileage where we noticed the time. Remember, we looked at the time, and you turned on the album, and you cranked the volume up, and made a comment that was 2 hours we were never going to get back. We carried every Sunday a 12-step meeting to a recovery home, and obviously we didn't get a chance. Also, what happened is if you know what a caliper is, and there's a little rubber hose leading off of it, that threw off when we were going around a roundy round. I thought the whole front end of the vehicle was coming off. And if that had happened a mile down the road when I was going about 70 miles an hour, if we were talking to you, we'd probably be paraplegics, and neither one of us are big ones for wearing seatbelts. So that's what happened. And here mileage where we noticed, and we both noticed the time was 9:08. The mileage was 162,498, and the Tool album started, and he even remembers the song.
So
here's some.
So we turned the volume up, and I remember coming up to the bridge, and all of a sudden, the next thing I know, I'm looking at lights coming up in front of us, and I thought we had come to the next town, which is Delphi, Indiana. They have a meat packaging plant there, and I thought that's what I was seeing. I was like, "Wow, are we really in Delphi already?" That was my comment.
Yeah, that's like 10 or 12 miles down the road. Like, what's going on?
Right. So at that point, I thought we were seeing Delphi in front of us. And come to find out, we continue another couple of miles, and it becomes clear that it's not Delphi, but it's an ethanol plant south of Logansport, which is the town where we turn off onto our little state road to finish the drive home. And so at that point, it became clear that we had just, neither one of us witnessed any of the scenery, and there's bridges, lighted bridges. There's a bunch of stuff that you would notice along the way. It's not like we could have just, just blanked out or just spaced out and missed all this stuff on the way.
But let me jump in with the scene here, and then we'll have Jamie give an alternate view if she can tune into it. If not, I remember what she said. And this isn't a place, but it's a curve. What happened is all of a sudden the vehicle started floating around on the road, and I'm like, Keith, and we're going around this long, wide turn, and we both remember the exact same place before the bridges. And I said, Keith, man, because, we just had a problem with the front end, and I'm like, oh my God, we're moving around. And that's the last thing I remember. And then until we saw what he was talking about. And Jamie she went into trance twice on this. And had a different view of it. Jamie, you're
Yeah,
welcome.
I'm here. Yeah, and I'm trying to see if I can try to do it while we're talking.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if anything will come through. But yeah, my experience was that the first trance that I did, I was in the back seat, and I was just kind of shocked because I didn't know that I could I think it's called remote viewing, but it could be a form of quantum jumping myself, right? So I'm actually getting out of myself, tapping into your experience, and then my energy goes right into the back seat of the car. And as soon as I'm in the back seat, I can clearly see that you're not human. And what's even more interesting is you're not the same race. Keith, you were very small. You look like a regular alien that we all know, the green one, it's called the gray though, because you were really tinier
Okay.
than Tom, because Tommy was more like Arcturian because of the shape of the head. And that's the picture. You can go back to that picture, but yeah, I drew something out after my second time trying to go into this remote viewing type of experience. And what I was picking up the first time was that you guys might have been these races billions of years ago. Like you just have been buddies for billions of years and you were these races. But I was kind of like complexed. I'm like, did I, like, is that true or is that not true? I had more questions, right? And it's different when you're doing it when you don't have a human asking questions when I'm in state, because that's usually how it works, or it will help, you know, pull some things out of me. But the second time I did it, they were like, no, they enjoyed the music. They were going for a joyride. They do it all the time. It's just that us humans were it's easy to, I guess you could say manipulate, but it's easy to um, play with us because um, because we don't remember, right? So you guys are actually hanging out in their vehicle, their ship, their mothership or whatever. But they just wanted your experience. They loved the music, they loved the car, and they just wanted the experience because it's more fascinating. I don't know, is that the word? Can you guys give me some insight on that? Is it more? No, we just no, it has nothing to do with fascination nation as I'm hearing because I'm also an intuitive. It's more, can you give me more information? It's more what? Oh, it's a like it's almost like coming down, oh, to have a party. No, but it's more of a beautiful essence for them. It's like it's almost like they're coming down here for a party. And and I know we're all in recovery and we kind of touched on that a little bit, but they used to say that years ago about the spirits, right? Like we would when if a drunk went into a blackout, it would be like we didn't know who took over, but now we
Can
know who,
can I
now
make
we
a
know. Yeah.
can I make a comment that you made
Yeah.
before? Because you were laughing your butt off at it, and you said they said that addicts and alcoholics people, and I used to be very aware of this, and I know when there were times I was in blackout or different people, or you seen people with that soul was not at home, something else
Right.
there,
Right.
and
Because they're
we're
easily manipulated. Yeah.
yeah, we're easily manipulated. What? Huh? Oh well.
Yeah. Right.
That's what you said, and they were laughing about it.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to cut in with that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, but that's, I mean, pretty much. I mean, and I remember too when you guys were saying something about the car floating, I could feel the sensation of it kind of like almost hovering when I was in the back seat.
Scared the shit out of me, I'll tell you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Keith, do you now? That's all you guys remember though, is like just starting,
Yeah,
after you fix the car,
yeah.
and then just coming to.
Uh-huh.
Well, all right. So I realized that we were coming up on Logansport and saw
Mhm.
those lights, and by the time we realized where we were at, and I looked at the clock, and only like 5 or 6 minutes had elapsed, and so right then I was like, we're both like, what in the heck just happened?
Right.
Kind of just trying to figure out what just went on because we both were aware of the time because I'd made the comment, look what time it is, we're just now getting out of here. And as we turned right there at that ethanol station, there's a gas station there. So we went ahead and turned off the interstate into that gas station, and we specifically looked and noted the time, and only 6 minutes had elapsed approximately.
Let me cut in there for
So
a second. This is what Jamie said I look like, an Arturian, blue with a great big inflated cranium. I hope this one gets better use of his than I have with mine. But I'm kind of like, yeah, that makes sense. But let me jump around here. So this is what all we missed. Here's a gas station outside that town, about 10 miles down the, maybe 8 miles down the road from where we last remember. The first exit to Delphi. I know there's a great big bridge there, all lit up. And we missed that at Delphi. And here's another picture of it. How can you not miss this? How can you not remember going by this? There is another plant that we thought this is a seed plant outside of there. And this is another exit we bypassed. And then we came around the curve, and this is what we saw. Go ahead, Keith. I'm sorry. I just wanted to use them slides up.
yeah, okay.
Have you
So
guys experienced any dreams?
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean since this happened, has anything kind of weird or out of the ordinary or anything, or just kind of like that happened 2 years ago and oh well.
Yeah, this happened 3 years ago, and I can't
3 years.
speak for him, but I have plenty of weird ones, So
But
and
do you
some with
think
people I know and
Ri-
ancestors. Yeah.
yeah, I was just wondering if anything has in your consciousness or awareness have like evolved or anything like that, like anything with
I
dreaming. What about you?
and go ahead, Keith.
uh, I don't I don't remember my dreams regularly. I'm one of these people that I wish I did more than what I do. I mean, I know I've had some, but nothing stands out to me as having changed dramatically.
Or anything from this experience?
No, the experience definitely was bizarre and stuck. I mean, as time has passed, you
Mhm.
know, it's okay. So I lost some time in there and don't know what happened, but you know, being an
Mhm.
addict most of my life, I lost days and weeks of my life and didn't know what happened. So I guess
Right,
that wasn't
right.
that new to me. Um,
Yeah. And okay. So then now here, I'm just kind of getting whatever I'm picking up. It's almost kind of like they're, I don't, the only thing that what came to my head or what I just heard was, um, like you guys were, and that's the reason why you were chosen almost, like, because, and then they're giving me the sensation of the feeling that some other people couldn't handle it. It's almost like we have a thick layer of skin around us, like we would brush it off, like, yeah, okay, whatever, I gotta go to work tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? Whereas others might be really traumatized and not let it go. Does that make sense?
yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, yeah.
We were talking about this just before doing the show, and Keith says, "Yeah, it happened. What's the big deal?" We've
Yeah.
already recounted this twice. The last one was
Right.
when
But
we
it's
made
almost like
this.
they're giving me the sensation, they're feeling like this is It only happens to the fainted hearted. The fainted hearted is the words I'm getting. I don't know.
Hmm.
It's a like the fainted heart, like somebody that has like, it's just showing me tough skin, somebody that rolls with the punches.
Yeah.
Yeah. But don't something. Give me a second. I don't know why I'm channeling, but I am. Um, give me that more. Can I have that? Can you say it more? Say it more, please. It's part of your journey of an awakening. It's um, what's that other saying? When two ships pass in the night, something like that. Say that again. It's like I'm getting like the sensation of the feeling is like two ships passing in the night. Not for you guys, but you guys have been on this journey a long time, and many and now and they're saying like there is no past lives because everything is one life, but you guys have been together in a lot of lives.
Can I
Yeah.
jump in
Yeah,
here?
sure.
Thank you for that, by the way. And this didn't freak us out. We'd had weird experiences before. Listen to that music, and the music was never like that for us ever again. You know, we pretty much it didn't have the same
Yeah, but it
value.
raised your the music. It's a tool. And they're
Yeah,
laughing. Somebody just said it's a tool, and then they're laughing.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
it's true. It's almost like a vibration is raised. There's the raising of the vibration with this kind. And then you go into. It's almost like when a lot of people that do meditations. There's the gong. Like a lot of me, I like to use um, Tibetan bells, right, will get me in state. So it's almost like that kind of sensation or feeling is, yeah. They're like, stop trying to explain yourself. Yeah, it's it raised it raised the consciousness, and it also put a beacon. You know, it was almost like a beacon. That music was a beacon.
we
That makes sense.
Christine Cavallero is jumping in there. They have already lived on the edge most of their lives. I was in bomb
Uh-huh.
disposal and been an addict since I was 16. If you don't mind me saying so, Keith was an addict one way or another from the time he was 12 and OD'd enough time. He deserves a frequent flyer
Mm,
near death experience, Miles, and me too back earlier. So, yeah, I get it.
yeah.
You know, and it really didn't freak us out. And like when I told Keith about doing this, he's like, "Why? You know, it's just not that big a thing anymore."
Mm.
But the reason that Karen gave me, and if you notice how she's moving, she's tuning in and channeling too.
Oh, good.
Guarantee you, this is not just you. And Christine is there doing it too. So we've got 3 channels here, and Quiet Joan is probably doing something of her own too. But yeah,
You know
look,
what? And then I'm just getting the sense
Karen's
that,
in her. Yeah.
and well,
Oh,
let's hear from Karen and let's hear from Karen and see what she's got to say. But I was just like almost got a vision of like you guys interacted with the galactic people before. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah.
it's not your first rodeo.
I'm
Sure.
I'm aware, and I grew up in Michigan, so and things were happening up there in '68. I remember one night that we had a car that was only a year old, and I was driving back to my girlfriend's place way out, by Lake Michigan, and the lights went black and went out, and then came back, and I don't know what happened. It doesn't matter anymore, but I had out of body and near death experiences when I was 16 using inhalants. So, yeah. But one of the things you asked a question, And I'm not going to speak for Keith, although I have noticed a change in him over the last 3 years. That ain't the guy I knew. He has come
Well,
so far, so fast, man. It almost, almost makes my eyes ache when I think about it.
yeah. Well, you gotta. Yeah,
Since then,
well, yeah, but I think
I have, even though I'm still kind of the me that those of us that know me have kind of been like, oh yeah, I have changed in my relationship, and I have gone into a different place. I am not the person I was. The things that used to be all right for me to say or do, and a few years ago, it's just not that
yeah.
way anymore. And when I get called on it, and instead of pushing back, I go, okay, something has changed in me. And I guess it's since that time.
Mm.
And I think so many of us right now, and one of the reasons that Karen said we were to do this was so that other people realize they weren't crazy, because a lot of other people are having experiences like this.
Right, right. Well,
Near
and
death.
yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead. I'm
All of
done.
it. No, I mean, I think the whole planet is waking up, and I love their introduction, because a lot of my um mantras today is about gratitude, right? Like and especially I didn't want to turn this into a recovery thing, but really that was the jumping off point of an awakening, right? That's our first awakening, and then we just have many layers to uncover, even if it's just like you just said, Tom, like I don't speak the way or if somebody calls me out on it, I look at like, oh, my character, like what am I doing, how am I behaving, and it's about evolving and writing that gratitude list, being grateful. No one's out to get me today, and that's that's a blessing.
Yeah.
So
If you could have known Keith 4 years ago, but it's like, you want to tell him about the stainless steel mirror in jail where you're detoxing in jail
Sure.
again, probably for the 35th time in your life, or 40th, or God knows how
Sure.
many.
so
Sure. I can recount that. Yeah. Um, so for me, recovery started. Well, I'd been. I tried about every possible way to recover possible, and I was miserable for some years towards the end of my addiction, and nothing seemed to work. And then I landed in jail, which wasn't a new thing for me. I lived incarcerated for more years than I was in the free world since I became an adult. So I mean, it wasn't being in jail that bothered me. I just um, I was detoxing, I was a heroin addict, so I was withdrawing, and I was locked up again. And I got up to use the urinal, and in jail we have stainless steel mirrors that aren't very good, but that's what you have for a mirror in the when you're up there in the holding cell in the front, waiting to get processed and whatnot. And I just had this weird feeling, and when I looked at the mirror, I knew that I didn't know who that was. Like, that is just not me. And then I immediately got the feeling, whose life am I living? Because this isn't me. Like, this just isn't my life. And I don't know. I can't even say what changed. It ain't nothing that I thought into existence. It was just an experience that I had. And I knew right then that I from that point forward, I was willing to do whatever I had to do to change the way I thought in order to not use again. But that was an experience, a pretty deep spiritual experience, and that's where my recovery started. Is the thought was, this isn't me, and you know, 4 years and some change later, my life is dramatically different than it was then, and I'm grateful for that. So.
that's amazing.
I'll say this. You know how you have to kind of push people through the steps? he got a gift of grace. He was going away for like 8 years, right? And they were done messing with him. And this judge looked at him and said, I don't know why I'm doing it. She sent him to a recovery home.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing. I'm a person that's never I'm a person that's never completed probation, always repeat offender, a couple dozen times over, have a terrible rap sheet. And as soon as I had that experience and was willing to do what it took, it seemed like the judge gave me gave me a break that I did not deserve at all. And then I went to that recovery home and I lined up with Tom and I started to try and make real change in my life. And immediately things just started dropping into place that are way bigger than me, and I can't explain them. But
I want to jump in. I want to jump in here with that because this is a guy who would call me every night on the stairs. When are we going to get to work on the next step? We spent a lot of time with the first step. His whole attitude and actions in life changed in the first step. He took away from a job that paid much more and took one that paid less because his people would give him a break. He listened to his dad, and he never listens to his dad. They're like that. And did what his dad asked. I mean, I can feel it going through me now. The change in him was miraculous from day one. And he would force me to work the steps with him for 3 hours at night for months. When are we going to do the fourth step? When are we going to finish this fifth step? I've never worked with anybody like that. So that's what happened.
Well, I'm sure that's probably what changed you too.
Yeah. Actually, now I got 27 years. He's been free from that before. And I don't know who the hell is sponsoring who now.
You know what's interesting though is if you look at the recovery aside, when you start to look at what the universe and how everybody is actually waking up, right? And a lot of times it's like it's kind of in line with how the universe is waking up because we set an intention, right? We set the intention like, screw this, I'm never going back to that drug group again, or I'm never going, right? So that's really actually a setting intention, right? And it's also a prayer, right? It's also like, I'm never going back there. Please God, get me out of this one. I'm never going. And so it's like, I had to put my faith in something other than myself because I kept getting myself and that's with anything. It doesn't really have to do with just drugs and alcohol. It can be eating, it could be shopping, it could be
anything,
lying, it could be lying by omission, you know what I mean? Like
anything.
Anything, and it's really, I think the whole planet is trying to wake up and wake themselves up. Because we aren't like, I loved when you guys opened up your whole podcast here because it's all about what are you doing today to help yourself. Can you see your brightness? Can you see your light?
Yeah.
It's like we finally are seeing our light and we're worth staying clean for, right? Like I'm worth staying sober for. I'm worth not lying to another human being today.
Absolutely.
So it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be alive right now. So
And it's
I'm gonna break here for a little bit. When Tom and Keith were sharing the story, I remember a story about myself. I remember I was working in Honeybrook, Pennsylvania, and I was living in Brooklyn at the time. And a taxi driver came to pick me up. John, I don't know if you can remember the story.
I do remember that story.
And the taxi guy came to pick me up. And when he picked me up, the ride from Honeybrook to Brooklyn would have taken something like about 2 hours or something like that. And when he picked me up, there was something funny about him. And he started to play music in the car. I was sitting at the back seat, and I am checking my time,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I say I supposed to meet home now.
Right.
So I asked him, I said to him, I said, where are you going? And when he realized he was going in the opposite direction, his GPS was now working because he was solely relying on his GPS, and his GPS was now working. But he was heading to Canada
Oh,
instead of heading to Brooklyn,
Right. Right.
right? So it took me like about 7 hours, I think, or 8 hours before I reached to
Time.
Brooklyn.
Right.
And the funny thing he said when he looked in the rear view mirror and he looked at me in the back seat, I was just calm, because some people would get pretty upset and start to curse him out.
Right.
But I sat in the back seat. I was pretty calm. I was singing along with the music, right? And when he dropped me off in Brooklyn, he thanked me for not getting upset. But that was a story that I could not have figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
But now hearing Tom, they're talking about this story, that came back to mind about that time, what happened to me that time.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie, could you shed some light on that?
Not to put you on the spot or anything.
not to put you on the spot at all. And what happened? Like, so, but was it an actual full 7 hours or was it not?
It was about 7 hours. Yeah. Yep. It normally from Honeybrook, Pennsylvania to Brooklyn would it take me like 2 hours.
But this guy just went the wrong way.
We went the wrong
Right.
direction. Yes.
And you want insight because you want to know why?
Pardon me?
Do you want to know why?
Yeah.
No, it was just I'm getting more just a human error.
Okay.
It was just a human error.
Right.
Okay.
The fact that she did not get disturbed. Let me pop through these last slides because this is what really freaks
Sorry
us
to
out.
butt in, Tom. I just remember that story.
No, that's
No,
fine. That's great.
I'm glad you did, and I remember that story. I'd like for both of you to share the nightgown trip in the dark, and Joan to share about she got hit by a bus that was going
This
fast.
is your guys' moment.
Okay, but I think it's important so that they know that the
This is
experiences
your
he
guys'
had are not
moment.
limited. Okay, so I'll just run through these slides because do you see how bright that place? You can see
Wow.
that place from miles away. When you're coming down a hill, like 5 miles away from it, you can see the light at night. It's like what, 150, almost 200 foot in the air. You've got all this stuff lit up, all these conveyors and things. This is an ethanol plant. This is about 2 miles away from it, if that tells you anything. And we're like, what in the world is going on? And I think also the mileage there where we notice it is like 162, 524 to 25, 23 miles or more in the last point. Remember, we later reclocked it and it's a good 25. And there's another thing of it a little closer. And there it is. You know, that place just is lit up like a Christmas tree.
Wow.
And that's where we ended up. And this is the gas station. Heck, I can't believe he got as good pictures as he's going because I'm going 65 and he's taking pictures. That's the gas station where we stopped at. And here's the weird part. So we stopped for gas for about 5 minutes or less. And the time was 9:15 p.m. when we pulled off. Remember the last time we saw the clock and we've driven like 8 miles was 9:08. And
Right.
when we pulled off 25 miles from where we last remember being, as we were leaving the gas station, we noticed the time had jumped forward to 9:35 from 9:15 when we pulled out. The lost time had been restored. Crazy. Remember you popped out and hot box a cigarette, Keith?
Yep. You pumped like $20 in gas. I got out, hot boxed a cigarette. We were there no more than 5 minutes. Got back in the vehicle, and right as we're pulling on, I look at the clock and I said, "It says we were there, way longer than we were. Said we were there over 20 minutes." I'm
Yeah,
like, there's no way. That took like 4 or 5 minutes.
and
It made,
you,
made no sense at all.
yeah, and you had said, oh my God, because he was on house arrest and he was going to get home late, right? We
Yeah,
had
I was
talked,
still on house arrest then. Yeah, I
and
forgot about that.
he's like, good deal, man. I won't get in trouble for getting late. And it restored the time, like, no break for you, kid.
Yeah. I was like,
And this
I don't
is
know.
an exit a mile up the road. Our Logansport exit, our mileage when we pulled onto US 35 is 162,531. We lost 23 to 25 miles. We just reappeared down the road. That's what we remember. And that's what happened.
Crazy.
How did you do you guys remember how you felt the next day or after that?
Not as freaked out as we should have been. And what Christine said, I forgot what she said, but she was kind of like, yeah. She said they had already lived on the edge most of their lives. It's like jumping out of an airplane, skydiving, no fear. And I remember Jamie saying she apparently whatever guidance or whatever I have, it finds me pretty hilarious. They told her that I almost died so many times, it wasn't even worth counting. I had more than 9 lives. I was in bomb disposal, and my God, I mean, the conditions I used to drive in and the situations I used to put myself to go get drugs or do things. Keith too. Like I said, Keith is OD'd enough where he's got frequent flyer miles into the light.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I can't deny it.
I got to tell a story about Keith. One of the last times he was brought back, he was with somebody, and as soon as he hit, the drug supply, by the way, if you know anybody who's a heroin addict, the drug supply is at least where we're at, it's like 90% fentanyl now. It's killing so many people. You drive through our little rural towns. The town north of us had like 39 people die in 1 year. They've got a population in the county of 22,000 from ODs from this. So, but anyway, he did, and it wasn't much, he said. And his friend rushed him to an ER, and protocol is 4 hits of Narcan, and they give up. And his friend talked him into giving him 6. And he came back. And what did you say, Keith? Or what did you think?
I was mad. Let's put it that way. At that point in time, I just couldn't believe that, I just was pissed off because God would bring me back into hell, basically. Like I felt so comfortable, and then all I know is I snapped back to reality, and I was extremely irritated and very pissed off to be there. So
Yeah, he said, "Why would you do that?"
it just didn't make any sense at that time. I was like, it's almost like, God just wouldn't let me die, is how I viewed it. Like, why can't I just, go off into oblivion,
Yeah,
Because he got a bigger purpose for you.
he is 1 out of 100.
Mhm.
But if you could see the change in him, the change with me, and I later became, they had a Thane Kerfman on, and he was my teacher. And he spent 10 years studying Peru as a Paco Kuna shaman. And the same time that after we actually did that show, I started training on that and actually got initiated. And that has so many subtle changes in me. It's a form of, kind of spirit and earth. I can't think of the word right now how he explains it. But there have just been subtle changes in my attitude toward the earth and what I do and to the things around me. A subtle shift in energies. I don't do a big thing with it. I don't run around and try to heal people and do this and do that or bring things through. But I believe for where we're at and what we're doing, Keith and I don't have to run around and make a thing of ourselves. Just be decent energies where we're at and try not to do any harm. And I think that's our role. I think that's a role in the world. And when we can work with somebody, we do. You know.
And I also too think it's part of that is quantum jumping. Do you know what I mean? You are
Yeah.
like every day we're I don't know, some people or channelers believe that we're doing it thousands and thousands of minutes every day. We are always, but it's we have the capacity to heal ourselves as well, right? And I think it all starts with that spark within, and then
Yeah.
helping another human being and
Yeah.
getting out of the way to help another human being.
Mhm.
Because you like like quantum jumping could just be changing your mind from the way
Right.
I thought yesterday to the way I think today. It's everything. When I was in my cups, I got sober at 24 years old, so it was
Wow. You've been
Congratulations.
how long
but
you
I
been
was
sober now? How long you
36 years.
Oh,
Wow.
congratulations.
But you
Congratulations.
don't, you don't drink, you don't die, you know what I mean? And you help somebody else. But I mean, it evolves, right? Evolves. It gets, I want
Yeah.
to, this is why this all came about with my channeling and mediumship. It was just, I was curious. So I started meditating. That's another
Mhm.
quantum, right? That's like from somebody that hated meditating to now I enjoy meditating. Now I enjoy being in state. It's like, um, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, like when I first got clean, did I want to work the steps? No. Did I want to help myself? I just wanted to serve myself. I didn't want to help anybody else,
Right.
you
Right.
know?
Right. Jamie, congratulations. Well, for someone who might well be looking at who's watching live and gonna catch the replay, can you describe when you mean state? What does that really mean?
Say that again.
When you say you're in state, what does that mean? Do you have to prepare to get into that
So it
space? What does it mean?
literally, I never knew this, but it's true. People have said all you have to do is just take a couple of deep breaths.
Mhm.
And
Hmm.
before I would go on my lives, like even just now, I did a 45-minute mantra type of thing. So I did, meditation, breathing. And a lot of it, I keep it simple. I do like a lot of guided meditations. Um, but now what I can do is I can listen to something or I can take a couple of deep breaths and I'm kind of in the zone. It's more that when I say in the state, it means I'm in the zone. I feel like I'm in the zone. I feel like
Right.
I just did an hour of yoga. Does that make sense?
It does make
Absolutely.
sense. And so when you're in the zone, you're able to channel and pull in and receive
Yes,
information.
yeah. So it started for me was I took a one channeling class and I didn't know that I could channel, but everybody can channel and everybody can be psychic and everybody can do this. Um, it's just how much how much do you want to learn? How much do you want to do your practices?
Right, right.
So I started with channeling and I did elementals, which would be fairies and dragons and then I would become them, right? I would be like bro like I would literally be the fairy or I would literally be the dragon or I'd be the tree. And then eventually what happened was it switched over to intuitiveness. So I was just observing the tree and the tree was telling me what and it was your tree, like it was a tree in your backyard and the tree had a message for you.
Hmm.
It would just be something like that, or a butterfly would come by, or a fairy. And then eventually loved ones started coming through. So then I was more, I would say that my strongest is probably more mediumship.
Can I break in here with just a couple of small personal experiences? I've had so many beautiful ones. Very recently, she said one of my ex-wives had come through and said we both made mistakes and mentioned that she was with me when I had a Ford Bronco. I only had a Ford Bronco for a small period. I knew exactly who it was, and I'm not surprised that she's passed on. she was living a really hard life.
Wow.
A hard life. And I could not believe that you brought that. You've done that 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, and I don't see now how he's telling me that I did that. I don't remember a thing.
Wow.
Yes,
So
we
I'll do a reading for somebody, and it's just kind of like it's like a dream.
Right.
I get it.
So when you get, sorry, Tom, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm done.
No,
I'm
I was just
answering your friend here.
I was saying you get into the zone, you whatever comes in the moment, and then that's it, and you move forward.
Yeah. And you will, and for me, it's like when I'm doing, it's kind of like it's a knowing, right? It's your clears. So you want to kind of like how I started was doing meditations with clearing my energy. So I would clear my clears. So that would be all your chakras, clear your
Right.
chakras. And that's how it started. And then meditation, lots of meditation, clear chakras. And I really highly, and I try to tell everybody, please use your non-dominant hand and start writing, or like and then it's a knowing. And so when you use your non-dominant hand, it's opening up your beta wave in your brain, right? And so you're opening up to channel. And so I was automatic writing for almost 20 something years and didn't know that it was automatic writing.
Wow.
You know, it was just, I was talking to the heavens and gods and whoever wanted to come and talk to me.
Right. Wow, that's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Jamie, and giving us a level of clarity, how it's been done. And so you have, as you explained to us, you have evolved through the process and you continue to.
Yeah. And I want to be that open channel. And if I do alcohol, drugs, marijuana, I can't do any of the mind altering substances because I want to be open
And clear. Yeah.
and clear. Yeah.
Karen?
Tom, somebody's asking a question. Did that mean both Tommy and Keith exchanged places with the galactic aliens during the 23 miles period?
Jamie?
The exchange places? No. Yes. Well, okay. So the beings went up into the craft, and then the Arcturian and then the gray were in the seat. When I was in the back seat, the 2 aliens were in the front seat, and then Tom and Keith were out on the ship.
Wow.
And I said that.
Is that what the question? But was that the question?
basically.
Did we answer it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so. And
yes.
you indicated. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, did that mean that both Tommy and Keith exchanged places
Yes.
with the galactic aliens during the 23 miles period?
Yes. Yeah. Now, what they were doing up there, I don't know, but the aliens in the front seat were just telepathically made me feel like you guys were fine, and like you were like enjoying your tour on the ship.
Yeah, Keith and I have both had plenty of out of body time in this life, so it
Yeah.
really freak us out, I'm sure.
I think more I think more is just gonna come to fruition. I really do.
She had another question here also.
Okay.
I really enjoy questions regarding the missing plane. I think this is the one that disappeared from, I think it flew out of Malaysia or something. MH370, could it be a quantum jump, which the plane eventually landed up in a totally different portal? Just like the Bermuda Triangle and stuff.
Is that a question?
But yeah, that was a question.
I think I think, you know what, if they Google it, I think they've already found it, didn't they? Didn't they find parts of it?
I think they found parts of it off the west coast of Australia. But what I said was, I told her, Chanel, I believe it is completely possible. If 2 country boys can reappear 25 miles virtually instantaneously, anything is possible. There are a lot of things that happen. And one of the reasons they're actually discussing and admitting things in ETs in Congress right now. They're actually doing things, and there's so many people, including friends of mine, and people on the internet I'm friends with, that are having too many experiences.
Yeah.
I was watching something up in the sky to the south of me, dancing a pattern up in the sky. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, I even saw like a UFO or something here in Denver. I looked up,
yeah.
I thought it was a little prop plane, and then it turned around. I turned around and I saw the whole bottom of a silver craft, but it was gone. Within a second, it was gone. And they say that if you raise your vibration, which would be like what the girls were talking about earlier, eat really healthy food, be really good to yourself, high vibration, staying in a gratitude state, really you'll start, things will start to come if you set your intention, things will start to come.
Keith has had I've seen him change so much just in the last year or two. And I'm going to tell you, my relationship with the redhead has just evolved so much in the last year, in the last 6 months. I don't know. It's just like I finally woke up and looked at some of my actions, attitudes, and behaviors, and I was like, what in the world have you been doing? And it wasn't anything bad. It was just this sneaky little arrogance and selfishness that we won't even look at. Most of us. I don't care how many times I've been doing in recovery, clean and sober for 27 years. And I'm just now starting to come to a point, but Keith is with an absolutely wonderful, beautiful girl, also in recovery. I have seen him change into somebody that I don't even know.
Wow.
So
that's great.
And
It is
I'm
great.
yeah.
Well, sometimes people come. Sometimes people come into our lives that have a positive effect and push us to want to grow.
Yeah.
And then if that makes sense, sometimes you feel something you never felt, the connectedness you never
True.
felt, and then it's
Right.
like, maybe I better try being a little more honest, or I better take a look at how aware I am of what's going on with that person more so than I was with others in the past, or
Yeah.
So I think it's.
I could do a whole show on relationships, but we won't go there.
Yeah, okay. But no,
Yeah.
you asked a question about how we've changed, and they've been subtle changes, but they're just sea-tide. I mean, they're just.
But I think too, when you like, it's like an energy shift, right? Like I can even when you're coming from a positive, abundance, love, like when you're coming from a high vibration, then you're gonna not be an arrogant, whatever.
Absolutely.
True.
Right.
Absolutely,
Totally
Jamie.
agree with you, Jamie.
Absolutely.
Totally agree with you.
By the way, Joan and Karen, yeah, she's put a twinkle in his eye. That's an inside joke. I think Danny's gonna smack me the next time he sees me.
But Ted, thank you for saying that, Tom. But Keith, it's so amazing for you. How do you feel of experiencing such a transformation and where you are in your life? And as you explain your formative years and the disjunction where you are, how do you feel in this moment? I mean, what's your outlook on everything?
Oh boy. It's weird. It feels like I live an entirely like my life started over 4 years ago, and today, I stay pretty busy, and a lot of days I can get stuck in the day-to-day activity. But if I just stop and think about what I felt like the moment I woke up 5 years ago, and look at the way my life is today, I can't help but just smile and be super grateful to be where I'm at, and even though I don't see the changes in myself, it becomes aware, when I stop and look at the bigger picture, it doesn't take long to be like, wow, I really have made a lot of changes, So I think a lot of it is just having a positive routine today and trying to do the next right thing. And be grateful for what I have and try and bring value, you know.
Oh, I
I,
like that.
I'm not a
Bringing
big,
value.
you know, if there's something that I try to, you know, I don't do a lot of formal prayer or anything, but, you know, I always, every day I try and ask God to help me bring value to whatever situation I'm in, you know? And
That's so
so,
beautiful.
you know, I keep it pretty simple, but all in all, it feels like I'm free today. And I was definitely miserable and a slave to a negative cycle for most of my adult life, for sure. You know,
Yeah.
I was trying to say, you know, it's rather simple. It doesn't go against religion. You know, many of the people that do the practice I'm on are very good Catholics. And Christine said it, we're nature mystics. I go out in the winter now. I don't care what temperature, what's going on. I was out today and I love spending time out in the forest or down by, and I'll go out in any kind of weather. Keith knows that. I don't give a shit if it's raining, you know. But now I do little rituals. Now I have a connection back to the
Yes.
earth, which is where all of our societies were at one time. And Karen and Joan had that when they were little girls, that connection, that deep connection to the earth, spirit, and family, and taught to show love from an early age. I wish we could get
And
Joan to
we
talk about her.
and
Go ahead.
no, I was
Sorry,
just
Joan.
gonna say, and we still carry through that because we love nature, we embrace nature, we are out in nature every day, you know, and just draw in from there and feel something that is really special being out there. We continue to do that all the time.
Um, I want to answer a question for Chanel there, and anyone else is welcome to answer it.
That's
Can
absolutely right what
some
she's saying.
can some turn a new
He or she,
leaf
I don't know, but it's
or have
absolutely right.
or have super psychic abilities after the quantum
Yes.
jump? Is it possible? To me, and I can't speak for the other two 12-step people here, to spiritually change your soul and your soul's mission in life is greater than any psychic. And I've had psychic stuff, but I don't have a lot of the experiences I used to have. It's like they're no longer important to me. What's important to me is to be aware of who and what I am now and what I'm doing and how
Yeah.
I'm impacting around me.
Hmm.
And I still have problems opening my mouth when it doesn't need to be there. But yeah, I think it can. But to me, the spiritual change, I have I have what in some literature calls a complete psychic change in my life. And I know Keith because I was there to experience it. He started from day one being a completely different person. It's been a privilege to be with you and witness your journey, Keith.
That's
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you for having me with you.
thank you.
That's really beautiful.
I,
You know when, go ahead, Tom.
no, I was done.
You know when we can really go inward, we can open up so many things in our lives. When we can stop and when we can listen and be quiet, be still, there is so many things we can understand. But a lot of times there's too much of noise. So we cannot hear and we cannot listen because we are magnificent beings. We came back here not just to come back here to just play around, actually, I should say. We come back here to evolve ourselves. But many times we question ourselves why we are here. But when you ask the question why, you need to stop and listen. Why? Because when you listen, you hear the answer to the why.
Mm.
It's going inward to yourself, because all the answers that we're looking for, you came with the answer. You came here prepared for all the challenges, all the experiences. You came here equipped with all the answers that you need. But many times, because we don't listen, that is why the challenges and the experience become so difficult for us to go through. But when we can step back and we can listen and we can understand what's happening, we can able to make that transformational journey within our own lives. It all calls for listening, being in silence, and understanding why we are here. We are here for a reason. We are here for a purpose. And we are here to help each other. We are here to help each other. It doesn't matter what race you be. It doesn't matter what race you be. We are here to help each other. But some people manipulate people and make them feel lesser than about themselves. And then after that happen, they now, because they don't know themselves, they go along with what was being said to them. But always remember, all the answers that you're looking for about your life, it's inside of you. You came here with it. Unpack yourself and understand yourself. That is why opening of the show, I said something. I said a lot of times when things happen in our lives, we need to trace it back to our ancestors. Ask your grandmother, ask your grandfather, if you got your great-grandparents alive, question them, ask them questions, and they will help to understand certain things that has happened to you right now. Because a lot of traumas that they went through, we are living it. We are living those traumas. So when you ask them certain things, you understand exactly what's happening to you. Question them, ask them, how was your life? What are some of the things you did in your life? Just find out. And they're going to tell you. But we have all the answers that we need. All the answers that we need, we have it. It's there. Right, Jamie?
Yes. You know, I was just going to add too, is like a lot of times when I do readings, the loved ones will step forward and they're telling me like, oh, you know, you might like you being in recovery is actually you're stopping the lineage, right? Like you're cleaning
Absolutely.
up the wreckage of even the ancestries back thousands of years ago where it started. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
It's kind of like we're cleaning up the wreckage of their past. Does
absolutely.
that
And
make
healing.
sense?
And
Yeah, you're
healing.
healing. Yeah, you're healing.
Healing.
You're healing them. You're healing the whole
Make a lot of
lineage.
sense. Yes.
Healing.
Yes. Make a lot of sense.
I think that's why it's important that we lean into our inner wisdom.
Yep.
Because as we lean into our inner wisdom and we embrace and we embody all of that, then we can able to receive and having a level of acceptation. And first of all, knowing who we are, knowing who
Absolutely.
we are, and having self-awareness and being self-assured and understand that when you're listening to and you're drawing from source or whatever is your level of spirituality, something's coming in, something, there's an inspiration that flows through that guides you, that inspires you, that help you to make decision. But you cannot get to this place, I think, unless you're quiet,
Right.
stillness, you know,
Can
and get into a space where you can able to receive and pull in and where you're reaching for that power beyond yourself.
can I
Absolutely.
say something right here on
Sure.
that answers a question that Jamie brought up with such verve somewhere, and I believe I've heard it a couple different places, but one is from Anthony and Mary of Positive Pineapple, who you ladies have had in the show. Well, I'd love to have you back again. We'll talk about it later, but it has been scientifically proven somewhere that we carry up to 14 generations of trauma in
Oh,
our
wow.
DNA, trauma and karma. Okay, that puts I'm 51% Scot. That puts me back in medieval Scotland. Not a real nice place to be a poor Scot. You know, my last family member from there came over in 1830 through Canada as a 12-year-old boy and got tired of starving in Canada from a town named Hamilton, and that's one of my middle names, so from the family, and came to Michigan and changed the family. But if you think about where your bloodlines were, these ladies here, my God, they've got blood from Fiji, from the Punjab region of India, from Africa. It's like all across they got Mayan blood and all the way across through Trinidad and through the Caribbean into Guyana. They are a melting pot from literally around the world. There is not an area that they don't have a drop of blood.
You're forgetting Ireland?
Ireland, yeah,
Oh,
Ireland.
wow.
Scotland?
Scotland too.
I mean, they've been. It's crazy. You know, how did you manage to do that? I'm not even going to ask. But yeah, and some of that actually tracks. You know, like she went and visited some Mayan ruins, and Karen did, and her husband is Hispanic and speaks beautiful Spanish. And the shaman, they says, "Oh, we're going to show you a shaman." The shaman ran up to her, and I'm sure there were a bunch of wealthy people there with a lot of bling. So she walks up, he runs up to some people that probably aren't going to give him a lot of money, he would probably imagine, and talks to her and knows that she was there. So, and it was, what, 780 AD? She sent me a rock from there that broke into 3 pieces when it was in shipment, and I sent that off to 2 different people, the other 2 pieces. So I'm just saying we have deep karmic connections all.
Yeah.
And I was there too, I guess.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, but I have been there with Karen and Christine through Egypt. I mean, I've got little bits and pieces, just little scraps. And when I bring it, she's like, yes. And yeah, I'm scared of her. She was extremely mean to me. She said I was very, very, yeah. What did you say? I was very stubborn and
very stubborn.
Yeah,
very stubborn.
Beat me with like a raw rhino tail or something. I don't know. I'm still scared of her. So, not that it improved my behavior over the millennia, but each of us, I do believe this. If I can leave you, and I believe Keith feels this way too, and I can't speak for Jamie. If we can leave you with anything, you are so much more than you know. You're a multi-dimensional beings that have chosen to be here.
Yes.
And what somewhere later in the comments or something I may put in, I read a book by Michael Newton, PhD, and what he's a psychologist. And what he did is he dipped in he brought back people from past lives. This guy's a total atheist. He's like, what? And then one woman was a really good subject, and she actually went back to a life between lives, and I had one of those sessions with one of his practitioners.
Wow.
We chose to be here. We chose our families. We chose our DNA. We chose particularly our opening years. We chose allow that trauma drama in order to have the experience and to grow into the type of souls and get the soul experiences we wanted. And as Jamie so aptly pointed out, to heal some of our familial karma and trauma, and to be a little point of light, a little spiritual beacon to others here around us, whether we realize we're doing it or not. And for me, I believe that Keith, what he does, his family does windows and doors, but he's great contractor. I mean, I've watched him do things. He can create things out of nothing. He's a carpenter. He's a bunch of skilled trades, you know. And just him being himself heals others, I believe. And we
Yes.
don't have to understand the process.
Mm-mm.
Sure.
It's like I used to be so woo woo, and I tried to have him do this and that, and he looked at me and said, "I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. That's not me." And he was true to himself. I remember that was like 3 years ago. Before that time, we were driving, and you looked over me like, "I ain't doing that shit," you know. And
That's pretty much how it went too.
yeah, and I looked at him, and I'm like, you know, you're 100% right. And then later, 3 years down the road, I understood that's not his purpose here. His purpose is to be exactly who and what he is. And he just naturally attracts people, you know. And he doesn't understand, oh, that's ridiculous. I'm like, dude, you know. And yeah, I'm so happy to still be alive. And for so many years, I tried to either check out of here or blank it all out. You know, my life has pretty much been a nightmare. And most of Keith's was too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then I'm glad I'm 73 years old. You know, I got some health issues. I can't believe I'm still alive, to be honest with you. Apparently, neither can my guides, according to Jamie there. But
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
live this. It's live the 3D experience. I made so many people in the quote unquote spiritual community. They're waiting for the 5D. I'm going to leave this earth behind and transmute this veil of tears. And I've got somebody, all I got to do is send them $1,500 to get on this spaceship, the mothership orbiting Venus. You know, I mean, I see this kind of hyperbole all the time with people selling this.
Yeah, I think people are trying, they're all like searching or looking for, just looking, and then, but they're not looking within, you know?
Absolutely.
It's
True.
just like,
That's
So
the
true,
key.
Jamie.
you
Look for
know,
them.
it's, you know, everybody's looking outside themselves, and the secret is within, you know?
That's it. That's it.
Once you can look within yourself, you can get all the answers that you need.
Go
Yeah,
within.
it's so true.
All the
Lean
answers.
into
true.
your inner wisdom.
Yes.
Lean
Yeah,
into your intuition, your
yeah,
inner being.
yeah.
Just think for a second, you know. We're here, right? And you don't think that you come back here with that inner wisdom. You just
Mhm,
come back here without knowing anything. You come back here and you have
mhm,
that inner wisdom within you.
mhm.
You just can't come back here just like that, you know?
Right. And I also too, like, now it's like, if you really think about it, it's like all belief systems what we were told, right? And so we can still live in the shame, the, you know, the shit, shame, and misery if we choose to. But then what, you know, like, but if you go within and you start to really do some work and start to heal your own soul, I mean, because your soul already knows, right? Like, we're
Right.
already white, we're already bright white, connected. And then you have your guides, you do have your higher self, your
The higher
angels,
self. Yeah.
everything is at your fingertips. It's just, for centuries that was taboo, right? That was not, you know, because they needed to make money another way. um but
Yeah.
you know, now it's kind of like we're all like kind of waking up
Mhm.
and showing, and then I think even the younger ones coming up are going to be even stronger, you
True.
know.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
So
They
Mhm.
I
are.
just want to give a shout out to Penny Clark Pridemore. She's also a gifted channel, and she said, and she was probably hanging out with us. I know Christine was in a lot of my lives with, and she said, "Beat you off," and she did. Thanks, but yeah, she made some other comments.
Oh.
Karen finds it very funny. I don't.
You're lucky I didn't find you early in life.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't meet your grandmother.
Yeah.
She was,
Uh,
Mm.
This
Wow.
was such a great discussion.
It
You know,
was.
I like when Jamie said something that really touched me. She said, every day we are quantum jumping. And that is so true.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every day when we make these decisions
Mm-hmm.
to transform our lives,
Mm-hmm.
we are moving, we are quantum
Yeah,
leaping.
we are.
See,
We're
that makes a
constant.
lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like when she spoke about setting the intention.
yeah,
Yeah.
Setting the intention, regardless whatever it may be, but
And
every day.
yeah, but it's like when I was taking the first channeling class and then intuitive class, that's what it all is. And you know what they also said was everything. How did they say it? I just said it with I had lunch with a girlfriend and we were just talking about that. When you're in kindergarten, you're like 6 or 7, four, between the ages of like, I don't know, 3 and 7. You have this magic mind,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're everything's magical. And what happens is we lose that over time. And so when they say if you wanted to try to practice mediumship or seeing elementals or fairies or whatever, it's like you have to get into that magical thinking again.
Mm-hmm.
That like, oh, there's a dragon. What does the dragon need to say to me? And you're like, am I making this up? And it's like, and it doesn't matter if you're making it up. It's part of your opening up your abilities,
yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, yes,
because that's
yes.
what you're trying to open that all back up again that was shut down when you were little.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And Jamie, I want to break in here with something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of parents need to pay attention to their children and don't shut them up. You
Mm-hmm.
know, because a lot of times parents, like when kids try to say something, it may not make sense to the parent,
Right.
but that child know exactly what they're saying. You know, we need to allow them to have their voice.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell them to shut up and
Mm-hmm.
they're speaking stupid things. That
Mm-hmm.
child know exactly what that child is saying.
Right.
You know,
Expression.
Yeah.
but we as parents now we tend to shut them down
Mm-hmm.
when they want to speak,
Mm-hmm.
because we as parents would say to them, but you're little, how do you know that? you know
Mm-hmm.
Right.
that is not a right thing. That's not a right thing to tell a
No.
child.
No.
you know that is
No.
They,
not the right thing to tell a
they've
child.
been here before.
That
Yeah.
child has the psychic ability, and it
Abilities.
start
Yeah.
from pretty, they came in with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you know you
Yeah.
and many times kids are more evolved than the parent.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
are more evolved than the parent, and the parent
Yeah.
cannot understand the child. They say the child showing tantrum, the child
Right.
behaving bad, but they
Yeah.
don't understand the child. you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
we got
we
to pay
have a,
attention to our children.
Yeah.
We
I'll
need to.
send you I did a writing on inner child work, and it was just like a little meditation, like with my automatic writing, and they said that exactly, like you were the closest to heaven at that age. You were more
Yes,
magical at that age than you are
Mm-hmm.
now, and it's all about being
yes,
magical.
yes,
Right. Right.
yes,
Right.
yes.
Right. Wow.
Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah.
Thank you
can
for
I
sharing that.
can I say something that you sent to me? I sent her some pictures. We've got a beautiful little Eskimo granddaughter who was adopted from Alaska,
Yes,
Oh wow.
and and she's like next level. And you want to talk about a gene code, man? She is. I can't explain it. She had these cheeks around here, like inches wider than her head when she was a baby, but she was just special. Even I could tell it. You know what I mean? And she is like just this solid thing of energy. And man, we had it at a party, and you said that she's a very ancient shamanic soul. You know what I mean? Karen. And you said that to tell her mother, and I haven't had the guts yet. She's the redhead's red mini me, and I'm kind of like, but to listen to her, and she's going to have
Yes.
her own way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you knew her spirit from before. You knew her spirit.
Wow, that's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
And there are so many coming through, and they have these little things on YouTube and stuff with these children that remember their past lives.
When they
And
speak, some kids, when you listen, when they speak, like 5 years old or even 3 years old, when they speak, it's so much depth into what they're saying. But because a lot of times we are not on that frequency to understand what they are saying. And many times those kids are even older than the parents, older in advanced age than the parents.
millions of years, possibly.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
But they come back to teach them something, and many times they're not paying attention.
Right.
They're not paying attention.
Yeah. There's a question there from Chanel. I love the questions. And it was so cool that Penny dropped in. And by the way, while you were doing your channeling, I don't know if you noticed, but she does what I do sometimes. Karen was in her zone, man. She was channeling energy too. I'll guarantee. I've known her when we've done like group meditations and things.
This is a good energy flow here.
Oh yeah, I felt it
Good
coming through
energy
my
flow.
body.
Yeah.
I normally don't pick it up. This is really beautiful.
Good
And
energy flow.
I'm
And
usually
Keith,
dense as a brick.
Keith,
Go ahead.
you look much younger.
I look younger?
Yes, I don't know. It's the first time I'm seeing you really, but you look much younger.
Well, thank
than
you.
before. Yeah.
Because he's living a more fulfilled life.
Yeah.
More fulfilled life. He's found his purpose. He's in passion, working with his passion. And so he's able to achieve more. And when it's good when you can reach that level and embrace that space. And your formative years are behind, but you gather those experiences. But where you are in the path and the journey that you're on right now is just fulfilling.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And there's so much more to you. You have not even unpacked yourself yet.
Yeah. That's so true.
Thank you.
You haven't even unpacked it. You're only on the surface. You're only on that surface. You got to get deeper. Get deeper.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I know I've got a lot to figure out about myself. Like I say, I'm just figuring out how to live, in some kind of peace and harmony in society at age 40 years old. So, I definitely have a lot to learn about myself still.
Don't force anything. It's gonna come. Don't force nothing.
Yeah.
One step at a time.
You're doing the right, like do the next right indicated thing, like you said.
And I remember he said something so deep, probably 2 years ago when we were talking, and it really impacted Christine Cavallero, commented earlier. He kind of said to me that he kind of goes about his day like a living prayer when he works and stuff. And if he can stay in that zone, man, things just go. And if you watch him work, man, there's almost a joy to him when he's working. And he works hard, man. That guy's unbelievably strong and fast. And he just makes things go. I mean, boom. And he says, it's just common sense.
I don't think it's unique it's definitely not unique to me. I think when, you guys have, I'm sure, experienced the same thing when you when you can get into kind of just like a meditative state because you intuitively know what you're doing in the moment, and you enjoy it enough to where it's no longer stressful. Sure. It's not a burden anymore, and then you get in that workflow where things just start snapping, things come together that, not going to say they're unexplainable, but it's a combination of the positive energy matched with your physical ability or mental ability, depending on what you're doing. And then just the the joyous and carefree state you're in at the moment. And then your day goes by, it's like, a whole lot gets done in comparison to when you're struggling or when you're working hard at something. Sometimes you don't have to work hard. Sometimes it comes to you,
True. True.
And so I think that's what I was trying to explain. When I can get in that state, a lot more gets done, with a lot less effort. It's almost like it's effortless,
Right.
Absolutely.
And
If
staying
that makes sense.
humble, and you can able to receive more.
Mhm.
And the
Right.
mindset shift, because you have a different mindset. You have
Right.
an open mindset.
Yeah, it is it's having an open mind and a positive, like even for me, I was not I was a real Debbie Downer and I was really angry. And I brought everybody with me. You know what I mean? Like I was just
Yeah.
like, and
Right.
and yeah, it's the mind. It's exactly, Keith, what you're talking about. It's like when you have that mindset. Because if I woke up every day going, oh my God, I gotta stay sober, like I gotta deal with these people, I gotta live with my mother, like whatever it is, like, and I was just always complaining and then it's like, why bother, right? Because then now I'm
Right.
heading for that shit, shame, and misery, and don't even know I am,
Right.
and but I think it is when you shift your that it shifts your reality.
Of
They
course.
even like you guys were talking about the scientific stuff about the trauma and the ancestors. They're doing things now with gratitude that it actually changes your reality.
Of course.
Gratitude can change your reality
Mm.
And
because you're
once you
not the
do,
victim. You're not the
yeah,
victim
No.
anymore.
And you
Yeah.
don't
once
let
you
your
change your
situation
reality,
define.
exactly, you change the whole epigenetics. Everything change. The
Mm-hmm.
structure change because you
Yeah,
change.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is why
Yeah.
Keith is looking younger. You know.
Yeah, that is why he's looking younger.
And because he's
It's true.
fulfilled. He's fulfilled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I feel like as human beings, we intuitively know that what you were just saying about wow, I just had a complete brain fart, but everything you were just saying, um, we kind of intuitively know that if we're grateful and we come into something, I mean, we've all experienced it, whether there's scientific proof or not, we know it's real just
Mm-hmm.
because,
feel it.
like
Mm-hmm.
on one day I'm in a bad mood and
Mm-hmm.
I struggle through everything. On the next day, if I put my intention into being grateful and looking what I do have in my life, what do you
Mm-hmm.
know? A whole lot more
Yeah.
got done.
It's true.
I mean, there's
God.
proof,
Yeah.
there's tangible proof at the end of the day most of
Right.
the time, but
Um,
Right.
depending on how I approach it, you know what I mean?
True.
So,
And
uh,
I was just talking to somebody the other day about faith and gratitude. And
Yeah.
actually gratitude has more substance than faith, because I can have faith all day long, because and I always picture my great grandmother, right? She's got all the faith in the world, she's got the rosary beads, she's got everything, right? She's got it all.
mhm.
But she still was the like nervous Nelly,
Mm-hmm.
worried about everybody, you know what I mean, gossiped about everybody, you know what I mean, but had the faith of a saint,
Mm-hmm.
and but was miserable. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
we
then
know.
then you have gratitude, right? You have gratitude, and it just like, if when I can't find faith, I find gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, Keith and I both know somebody like that. No,
Oh yeah, I have a
but
grandmother that fits that description to a T.
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
but
I
down
think
below.
we all have.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
down below here and that was my mother. You know, Chanel. Can we set our own quantum time jump, and where the precise journey we set based on our own intention? I think yes, but also I think the greatest quantum time jump is with our souls, or transformations like the three of us were just talking about, or what Keith is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to jump in here, Keith, and what Karen said. You're in a perfect place, dude. I don't want to try to turn you in any direction, because you are exactly who and what you're supposed to be, and I can feel it right now in my heart space, brother.
You know
You
where
are
he's going.
you are
Of
being and
course.
doing
You know where he's
exact.
going.
Nobody can change
Yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah.
He's
And,
quite
and
aware
uh,
of that.
yeah,
The
and
spirit in him would not let anyone shift that.
once he got where he needed to
Mhm.
be, and I think I survived to be here in this place at this time for that
The
short
whipping
period.
before is
For,
the whipping you had before.
yeah. Look at her, man. We're, she probably wants me to come back in another life like that. I don't know, but uh, yeah. And I kind of apologize for trying to lead you down these different paths, and a lot of those paths I've moved over from or closed off from now. But what I was going to say to
But
Chanel there,
Keith has been your greatest teacher.
Mm.
oh yeah, but I helped him in the
We've taught
beginning.
each other a lot of things along the way. It's been a mutual
Mirroring,
growing process for
Mirroring.
Yeah,
sure.
mirroring, mirroring.
Mirroring, yeah.
exactly. And he's
That's what it
very
is.
matter of fact. Grew up in a small town with some very rock solid, and I'm more just off in off in Netherland. I'm Mr. Woo Woo. I'm off in these places, and somehow between the two of us, we've changed ourselves.
Yeah, I think
And
it's
I
beautiful.
believe that I'm sure you've had the same experience with people you sponsor, Jamie.
Chan, thank you for subscribing to Soul Light and Body.
Gotti.
Thank you. This
And
has
what
been so beautiful.
I
and
wanted
what,
just to answer. I wanted to
yeah,
answer her question too.
Yes.
thank you.
Because what I wrote down was, because I think Joan brought it up, was your intuition. You want to you can set the intention, right? But you also too want to be quiet enough to know where
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
going. Like
Yes.
where am I going to quantum jump to what? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you know what I mean? Because I was always packing my bags leaving. You know what I mean? Like just it'll be different if I just move to this state.
Mhm.
And I did that even not drinking. I moved a lot. I was a geographic. It's going to be better over here. It's going to be better if I just get this other job. It's going to be better if I just get a new guy. It's just constantly because I was too afraid to go within.
Yes.
Right.
So
Right.
it's really about not being afraid to go within because
Right.
all your answers are within you.
Yes.
You know.
Absolutely, Jamie. Absolutely.
Because the thing is, even if you move geographically, it will be there with you.
I know. It's like
Absolutely.
everywhere you go, there you are. I mean,
Exactly.
yeah.
I've been to both coasts and back twice, trying to run away.
Right.
Trying to run away from the same guy that got off the bus, the plane, or hitchhiked.
Yeah.
I wonder why that is. Is that something society programs into us, or why do we continue to always look for something outside ourselves to change what's wrong inside ourselves? We're going to
Bec-
change a place where we need to get this new thing because it's going to fix this problem that it really was. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
problem is always me.
It's your
It's
Right.
ego.
never
It's your
anything out
ego.
there. So why do I think that's going
Ego.
to fix me?
It's your ego.
The ego.
Well, it was my ego
Right.
because I was always running on fear. I was never running
Right.
on faith, and I didn't have enough faith within myself.
Mm.
And I
Right.
never thought I was good enough.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So
That's a big one.
so there's all that underlying bullshit.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Right.
And it's really just all stems from trauma, stems from
Yes.
belief
Right. Right.
systems,
Yes.
all that stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
But I was always running away from myself, even sober.
Right.
I mean, I would get good jobs, and there's always that thing too, about starting over, right? Because then you got to stay busy, right? You
Right.
got to look for a job, look for a place to live. Like it's like crawling out of a box, right? I know how to do that. I've been doing it my whole life, right? So so that was easy. Staying still, being quiet, getting to know me, that was
Right.
hard.
Right. Right. Right.
Right.
And I think that
Yeah.
that's the reason why people don't want to do it, because you have to go to the root.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go to the root, and then a lot of unpleasant things will emerge that sometimes you're not ready to address.
Right. Yep.
It can frighten you too. You can run scared.
Penny said, whip him again.
She's so
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Hi,
Uh,
Penny. Yeah.
You know, a lot of times, right? When things are coming up, when things are coming to the surface, those are the things we need to work on.
mm-hmm.
But we numb it. We
Yep.
look for things to numb it.
Yep.
We look for things to push it down back,
Yeah.
and when we do that, we can never head anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do that, we can't understand ourselves. But
Yeah.
when you see emotions and things are coming up, they're coming up for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's for us to heal ourselves.
Yeah.
But we tend to don't understand that aspect
Yeah.
about our lives.
Right.
So when you see things are coming up, that is why it's good to journal.
Mm-hmm.
Journal your emotions, journal how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Because when you can look back at that, you can start working on that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start working on that, you will start to see the transformation start to happen in your life.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
and
it.
sometimes it's 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. I did a lot of like early in my journey of recovery. Like I was still stealing, I was still lying, I was still doing all the things because I wasn't ready to change.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, yeah, I'll quit drinking, but like all that other stuff and character defects, I was playing with mine and having fun with them. You know what I mean? And until I got burned enough to go, oh, you
Yes.
don't lie, oh, you don't steal. I'll tell you guys this one story real quick. I hit bottom on a cruise ship, and I wasn't the passenger, I was the worker. And then I got sober. I cleaned myself up. I was 24 years old. And I go to work, I got my job back, right? And I'm 7 months sober and I got my job back. And they have really beautiful robes. This cruise ship's got really beautiful robes. So I stole a couple of those. They got beautiful towels. They got some beach towels, stole those because I thought I was entitled because they had a whole room full of all these robes and towels and glasses. So I just mailed them back to my apartment. My apartment. I prayed for that. I said, to whom it may concern, I need a place to live. And I got an apartment the next day. So that was like a little God shot. But, anyways, I mail all that stuff back to my apartment. I'm off holiday. We get a couple of weeks off. So I go, I'm opening up my boxes. I'm so excited with my robe and my towels. But now I got to bring them down to the laundry room and I got to wash them. So I throw them in the washer down in the laundry room. I come back and every single thing was stolen.
Oh my God.
Then that night, I brought an iced tea and out to the pool, broke. Went to the car, dropped the glass, like all 3 glasses broke. And then finally I went, okay, I'm getting it. I
Yes.
wasn't supposed to steal any of that stuff,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So
But
it's
it's
just,
because
you live and learn.
because you was paying attention. That was a level of awareness.
Right, right.
Pull yourself
It was an
together.
awakening. It was an awakening, but it was an
Exactly.
awareness of what I was doing because I was doing my old behavior. I
Right.
deserve this robe. I deserve these towels for my new apartment. I want these glasses. And it was a big learning curve.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. This was so great.
Yes, it was fun. I'm so glad you guys invited me.
But you know what, Jamie, we're going to put you on the spot now because you said you can talk about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
No,
So
that we
we
could
will
have a whole hour on relationships.
We
we
will
will
have
be
you back.
inviting you back in 2025 to be a part of that.
Okay, because I did a lot of work with women who love too much.
Oh,
I don't know if you
wow.
guys
Ooh,
ever
that's
heard
so
about that.
nice.
Love it.
30 years ago, that was a big thing.
Yeah. So we will be inviting you back to Soul Light and Body and Enrichment of Mind, Body, and Soul.
Nice. Thank you so much.
Yes. This was so great, Tom.
Keith, it was nice meeting you.
Yeah,
It was very
Yeah,
nice
nice
to meet
meeting
you,
you too.
ladies.
well. Yeah.
Thank
It was
you for
wonderful.
having me, and you ladies are wonderful. And I will talk to you soon, Tom.
Thank you, Keith.
Thank you, Keith.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank
Yep.
Keep
you.
up the keep up the
Aloha.
great work.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye,
Have a
Keith.
good evening.
You
Bye.
too.
Thank you. You too.
And we just want to thank everybody for joining us this evening.
It's
And
beautiful.
it is so beautiful when people could come together and just have a
Mhm.
beautiful discussion. You know,
Mhm.
we touched on so many things this evening, and it's to help you, the viewers, to understand that quantum, as Jamie said, every day we are changing, we are evolving, and
Mhm.
it's time. We are moving, and we're doing quantum, because once you decide with your life that I'm going to make these changes, you're moving yourself forward, and it's quantum. You're moving yourself forward. And this was such a beautiful discussion because we touched on so many things this evening. So many things we touched on, right, Tom?
Yeah, it went totally different than what I thought. We started a point and it just is like you said, Jamie said before, what are we going to do? What's the format? And I think Joan said, we'll let
As
spirit lead.
exactly. And that's what and when you do it like that, when you allow spirit to guide, it come out beautiful and so meaningful. And it just flow. It just flowed.
Yes, it did. It was a beautiful
Just
conversation.
flowed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Jamie,
go ahead,
I'm sorry.
Tommy. Go ahead,
I'm,
Tom.
I'm just going to say, I met Jamie through some friends, and I talked to her, and we talked a little bit after. And when she saw her, she really tuned in. I shared the earlier podcast that Keith and I did. There's a redhead saying hello back there.
Oh.
It's kitty treat time, the most important
Oh,
time of
okay.
the day, most important time of the day here. But yeah, I'm so glad that she came on the show, and Keith again. And like you explained to me, Karen, to Keith, is to let people know they're not crazy. A lot of people are
Yes.
having these experiences now. And I'm going to hold you in 2005. I get to interview both you ladies.
2005.
Some 2000. Yeah, that was 2025.
I
Hey,
guess you
we've got
quantum.
time.
You're quantum
time
jumping.
shifts. Another quantum time jump.
Oh my
But,
goodness. No, we know we're just having fun with you. We know what you mean.
Yeah.
2025. But she left.
Yeah, she probably popped up. Yeah, so it is so beautiful, and as you rightfully said, Tom, a lot of times things are happening to us and we are questioning ourselves because we don't understand. But when people like you and Keith and Jamie could come and explain certain things, people could say, you know what? Well, then nothing is wrong with me. This is exactly how I'm feeling, and this is exactly what happened to me. So it is really a beautiful thing that we all can come together and we can have these discussions to help people to understand more about themselves. And this is our this is our last Soul Light and Body show for 2024. And we're looking forward for your continuous support in 2025. Remember that we love you. We're wishing you all the best. We're wishing you a prosperous and an abundant filled 2025. Whatever you are working on at this point in time in your life, sit down, set clear intentions, exactly what you want with your life. Just remember that all the answers that you're looking for is within you. Just sit and listen, and you will have all the answers that you need. Because many times we are running all over the place, not knowing that the answers we have within our lives. And to the viewers, we thank you so much for supporting us, because you help us every single week to bring on a guest here who can bring a message that you need to help you on this journey called life. And to the subscribers on Soul Light and Body YouTube channel. We just want to thank you so much because this year, 2024, a lot of people have subscribed to Soul Light and Body. And we just want to thank you so much for supporting us because without your support, we not would be here. So we appreciate you and we love you. And again, we thank you so much for your support. And our family on LinkedIn, we want to thank you so much for showing up in all three spaces and bringing value whenever you show up as our special guest. We look forward to continued support in 2025, and we look forward to doing bigger and better things with you in collaboration in 2025. And to our Facebook family, thank you so much for supporting us on our journey. Because when we started, all the comments you said, we know you guys can do it. And here we are, 2 years and months counting. And we just appreciate you guys supporting us. And we love you. Reach out to us at any time. We are here for you. Go ahead, Tom.
I just wanted to make one comment. You know, I've known these ladies now for, well, I've known Karen since January of 2021, and she told me I'd be bringing her to the world. And how we met, I went to this group and she knew me, and I saw her pictures and I just stared and stared at them. I know this person. How do I know this person? Well, yeah, because we knew our souls. But what I can tell you is what they see and how they act. This is genuine. This is how they've always been. You know, there's no social artifice. They grew up in Guyana in a, you know, simple lives, and they've carried those values here, and they still live the way they were raised. And I've met them in person. They are exactly how they present themselves. And that, at least in my experience, is kind of unique, but it's beautiful. So they are what you see and what they express. Sorry, I just wanted to bring that in there. I've been wanting to say that for a while.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you for saying that. And you know, we really love and appreciate you because the three of us started Soul Light and Body, you know. And when we started Soul Light and Body, we really didn't know where it was going. We had absolutely no idea, but we set our intentions because our intentions is to help humanity. That's our intentions. And we are going to continue to be of service. Every week, we're going to bring on a guest here to help you, the audience, to evolve. Because many of us, we are struggling. And when you can hear a word, it could spark something in you to help you with your evolution. John?
We just want to continue to boost your confidence and let you know that you're special. You're amazing. You are enough. And your situation does not define who you are. Every day you're constantly becoming. Every day you are evolving.
Yes.
And as you continue to evolve and you continue to move and you walk with grace and show yourself love and compassion, you're walking in your excellence. I just have to say that. So continue to lean into your inner wisdom. Embrace who you are. And remind yourself that you have something special and that light within you that you continuously shine and bring that level of illumination to the world. You're helping others to shine their light as well. So continue shining your light. We just want to thank you and just let you know that we love you. We're here for you and we support you. Thank you for everything and every support that you've given to us throughout the months and forward into the future. To continue shining light because you're special, and continue to embrace your moments, continue to embrace your baby steps, focus on your small wins because the big wins are coming, and get ready, nourish and nurture for 2025 because There are great things lying ahead, lying in front of you. Embrace. Know
Yes.
who you are. Self-awareness. Self-love. Do the
Watch
inner work.
yourself talk. Watch
Watch yourself
yourself
talk
talk.
so that you can
Choose your
step.
words.
Yeah. And I want to say one thing too. Let go of what is not serving you well.
Yes.
Let go of what is not serving you well, because when you let go of what is not serving you well, you can embrace all the goodness that universe life has got to offer you. Clear away the clutter and let new things come in. It's waiting, but you got to make room, you got to make space so it can come into you. We love
Absolutely.
you. Take good care
Yes.
of yourself and continue to be you.
And have a fabulous holiday and an epic 2025.
Listen to
See you.
yourself, what matters.
See you in 2025. We love you.
Love
We
you.
love you. We love you.
Take
Bye
care.
bye.
Bye.
Take care.